I think we should start with David Njoku. This is a guy who a couple years ago, well, one, he comes in as a rookie, first round pick, and suffers drops early in his career.
Yep.
And then I feel like that stigma has kind of followed him, even though I think last year we debunked like that he has dropped. Since the rookie year, drops haven't been a huge issue for him. There was like a 2 to 3 game stretch this year where he was struggling with the drops a little bit.
But everybody was.
But again, you're playing with 4 different quarterbacks. There's an adjustment there. But man, just a guy who has become one of the unquestioned leaders of this football team. And he not only vocally, but he goes out and does it on the field. And I'm a huge David Njoku fan. He's one of my favorite Browns players. So to see it, like him really put it all together, it's awesome to watch. We kind of predicted a breakout year for him because we thought he was going to have great chemistry with Deshaun. I didn't know he was going to be on his way to hopefully putting up close to 1,000 with Joe Flacco, DTR, PJ Walker, a little bit of Deshaun sprinkled in. I didn't know this was going to be how he did it, but man, we would not be 9-5 without David Njoku.
No, I absolutely agree, because I posted the question in the chat before we were getting started. I said, has David Njoku established himself as the top go-to option in the Browns offense, or do you think that's still Amari Cooper? Either way you look at it, this guy is legit. He is elite. He has fully broken out. He's a dominator.
I don't think he has taken over Amari Cooper as like the biggest threat, but I think he's definitely made himself the safety blanket for a guy like Joe Flacco. You know what I mean?
Not only the safety blanket, but he's still a big play machine.
Yes. The first guy never brings him down, ever.
That's what we talked about in the Discord earlier. I said he's always at least one yak. No matter what, if he gets hit, he's at least getting 1 yard after the contact, if not more. But he always goes forward. He's so strong and powerful.
Aaron Butler, did I not decimate you enough the last time we went live? We literally just beat you 2 weeks ago. Get the fuck out of here. No, David Njoku. And I think it's awesome. I actually heard a thing from Pete Schrager on NFL Network today. The night before the game at the team hotel, Stefanski brought up Njoku and basically like used him as the example of what a Cleveland Brown should be. Right. Nice. You know what I mean? Like talked about how great of a teammate he was. How if you want to like playing like he embodies being a Cleveland Brown, and then he goes out and has arguably his best game of his career.
This is a guy who requested a trade a few years back, didn't want to be here anymore, and we got him behind closed doors, had a conversation with him, Kevin in the front office, and he decided that okay, I embrace my role here, and look what he's turned into.
And it's not just the receiving threat. He's a great run blocker now. Like he's a total tight end, and he has 100% moved himself into like that top tier tight end rankings.
Yes.
You know, like Kelsey is still like your number one.
Yes.
You know, him and Kittle.
He is a future Hall of Famer.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
But I put him up there, right? Like he's in that tier. He's different. Kelsey's different than all of them. He's essentially a receiver playing tight end. Great. But David Njoku is 100% in that George Kittle freak athlete, and he's healthy more often. I'm not saying he's better than George Kittle, but you can talk about David Njoku in the same conversation when you talk about George Kittle, in my opinion. Now, I want to see him stack years like this together to put himself like above a George Kittle. George Kittle's been doing it for a while now at a very high level. But you can 100% talk about them in the same sentence without it being blasphemy.
We always thought he had the potential. We were talking about the same thing right before you got here, man, on Discord. We always thought he had the potential to be that guy, or at least a top 10 kind of guy, but he just never really saw those opportunities, right? He, like you said, he is establishing himself as one of the elite tight end weapons in the NFL week in and week out now. Has just been dominant. And some of the plays that he made yesterday, the touchdown grab,
man,
looked absolutely crazy. And then, like you guys say, you let him get out in space, very, very hard to bring down. And he is just basically a rolling ball. He just is taking guys with him.
I feel like he's deceivingly fast.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been saying that.
I don't know what his 40 time is. I don't remember, but it seems, I think I talked about this maybe last week or the week before, or we didn't do one last week, but when he gets the ball, it doesn't look like he's trying that hard to run fast, but it's like he's a giant, like he's gracefully
Do you remember how Terrell Pryor looked when he ran?
Yes.
Like he's barely moving, but at the same time he's covering so much ground.
And he's pulling away from everybody.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's working super hard, but he's just pulling away from people, running through every single tackle. Like, I mean, he's a freak athlete.
Yes.
So I'm so happy for David Njoku and what he's been able to do this season and the way he's embraced his role as a leader for the Browns.
The touchdown catch I said yesterday, was a man catch.
Yes.
He caught the back end of the football, first of all. Like, he didn't catch the full ball. Like, he caught it at the very back end, and the ball never moved out of his hands. Like, he didn't bobble it and nothing. It never shifted. And he went to the ground the whole way. The ball never came to his body. The whole way to the ground with 3 hands on the ball, 2 of his and 1 of the defenders. And he never lost the ball.
He, by the way, just not only was the catch impressive, but that throw is why Joe Flacco was brought in and why he was named the starting quarterback. DTR and PJ Walker don't make that throw. No. David Njoku was blanketed, but the defender did not have his eyes on the quarterback. Flacco saw the back of his head and said, "I can throw it up here because this guy's not going to know the ball's coming." PJ Walker, DTR aren't making that throw. Mm-hmm. They're not making that throw, and they're not making it accurately. That's why you brought Joe Flacco in.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.